Hello, everyone. Looks like people are trickling in, so I'm going to get started. Hello, Jessica, Shamika, Vanshika. Hopefully I'm saying your names right. Good to see you. So my name is Nicole Ceballos, and I'm a training specialist here at GoCo and your instructor today. This webinar is a part of a series of training courses that we have created to help full access administrators like yourselves to learn how to use the GoCo platform and to have the opportunity to practice using the software and applying the skills you learn to real-world scenarios. Today's topic is MagicDocs training. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm going to teach you all about MagicDocs, and by the end of the hour and 15 minutes we have scheduled, you will have created a MagicDoc on your own. While we give everyone a couple of minutes to join, I'm going to launch a poll question, and I'll go over some rules regarding the webinar format. So let me go ahead and launch this poll. And while you guys are answering that, listen up for the rules. In the webinar format, you have visibility of me. However, I cannot see you and your smiling faces. For that reason, I'm going to ask that you all be engaged and utilize our chat feature as much as possible. I want to hear your questions, thoughts, and suggestions. You can send messages to the entire class or to me individually. When sending messages to me individually, you can use either the chat feature or the Q&A feature. Either way, I'll be able to respond. And although I will be checking in periodically, asking if anyone has any questions, you can click the raise hand button if something pops up in the middle of a segment to grab my attention. I'll also be asking for y'all to send some emojis throughout just to check in and ensure that we're all on the same page. So when I ask for those, you'll just click on the little smiley face icon in the chat next to the typing space and select whichever applies. Lastly, towards the end of the session, you will have the opportunity to create a MagicDoc. So if you came with one that you would like to Magitize already, that's awesome. But if you do not have one, there was one included in the invite email. It is at the bottom of the email just before the signature field. It should read something along the lines of, to prepare for training, make sure you have access to your GoCo account and a document to Magitize it like this, with the hyperlink letting you download the file we practice with. Either way, be sure to have that document handy so that when we get to that portion, we can jump right in. So now that we're all on the same page, we'll move on to the results of the poll. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this and share results with you all. So we have a variety of answers here. So it looks anywhere, average of docs can range from 4 to 10 plus with the attendees that we have today. So excited to show you MagicDocs, how we're able to Magitize all of the documents and store them within GoCo. It's essentially a virtual filing cabinet. So we'll jump into that those exciting details here momentarily. So let's go ahead and jump into our agenda. First things first, we'll go over our goals for the day. And what do we want to accomplish in our hour and 15 minutes together? Then we'll have an in-depth look into MagicDocs. We'll cover the life cycle of a MagicDoc, different documents you can use MagicDocs for, who can be involved with a MagicDoc, and how to create a MagicDoc. After you learn all about Magic documents, you will have the opportunity to create your own MagicDoc with me right here in case you have any questions. We'll finish everything off with a Q&A session in case you have any lingering questions. So how does that sound for everyone? Can I get our first emoji of the day and get a thumbs up in the chat to let me know that we're ready to get started? I see a thumbs up, Brandy. Awesome, awesome. And yes, Vanshika, I will be. Let me go ahead and answer you here. But yes, sounds good. I will go ahead and jump into our goals for the day. So first things first, what are our goals? The first goal I've set for this training session is for you, the full access administrator, to gain a full understanding of what MagicDocs are and how to utilize them for your business. And the second is for you to feel 100% comfortable with creating and updating MagicDocs on your own. So hopefully this sounds like something that we can tackle, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into MagicDocs. So what are MagicDocs? MagicDocs are GoCo's built-in document management system. With MagicDocs, full access administrators like yourself can magitize your HR documents and manage them in GoCo. Magitizing a document essentially means to templatize it so that whenever that document is in use, it will automatically pull the needed information from GoCo, such as your employee's name and contact info. We call these magic fields, and then prompt the document assignee to fill out the required information, such as a signature capture or an acknowledgement. All these documents are then stored and housed in GoCo forevermore. So you can think of MagicDocs as a word processor / virtual filing cabinet to store all HR related docs. If you are currently managing all of your docs by hand or in a physical metal filing cabinet, you can now toss that thing out the window. For now we have your virtual filing cabinet. Since GoCo is a cloud-based, you and your employees can access these documents from any location on any device. You as the full access administrator can also update permissions for each document to allow it to be hidden or not from your employees. So now that we have a basic definition of MagicDocs, let's dive a little deeper and go over the types of documents and what functions you can use MagicDocs with. I see I have a couple of questions coming in, so I will answer those. With MagicDocs, there are 3 main action items that we can support. The first action is a signature capture. You can use MagicDocs to collect a signature for a new hire offer letter or for a new hire NDA agreement. The second action is acknowledgement. So you can use MagicDocs to have employee acknowledge any document you wish, such as an employee handbook or a policy agreement. And lastly, we can use MagicDocs to collect any other document uploads, so like a driver's license or a real estate license. These are documents that you don't necessarily create yourself, but you would typically create a photocopy of and put inside of an employee's profile. GoCo allows you to do this and even set expiration dates so that you will be reminded and collect a current copy. These are the 3 main action items that you can tie to a document, but once you are in GoCo, you can classify these into 6 different categories. So I'll go ahead and review those in the next slide. And then I see, Aileen, you have a question. What is recommended for existing employee files in terms of getting them into GoCo? So it's really up to you in that process. You can either have we'll jump into this, but documents to collect, you can either assign employees a tax document for them to upload on their own, or if they have like driver's license photocopies that you want them to upload, they can upload them in documents to collect. Or if you already have those existing files and you just need to up them yourself as the HR admin, you are also able to do that as well. And you can put them in each employee's profile. So hopefully that answers your question. Please let me know if you have a further question. I'm happy to answer it. So moving on to the next slide, when in your GoCo accounts and in the documents module, you will see the following categories: offer letters, contractor agreements. These documents will typically have a signature capture tied to them, but you can add acknowledgements, approvals, or to have a user receive a copy. Performance reviews. These you can set up to collect signatures, acknowledgements, approvals, or to have a user receive a copy. Government forms, these are your I-9s, W-2s, etc. These will be set up by your GoCo team and you will not be able to edit them. And then agreements, forms, and handbooks. These can be set up to collect signatures, acknowledgements, etc. And then documents to collect, you can set these up only to accept a file upload, no signatures. And then lastly, archived is simply where all documents that you archive will appear. So now that we've covered the basics of what MagicDocs are and how you can categorize them in GoCo, let's go over permissions and MagicDocs. That is, who has access to MagicDocs. So starting from the top to the bottom with the most permissions first, we have our full access administrators. Our full access administrators, that's you, can pretty much do anything. They can create, edit, and view, create, edit, and publish MagicDocs. They can collect docs from any employee, and they can even adjust permissions to create other full access administrators. Next, we have our managers. Managers can view their own documents and their direct reports documents. They cannot edit or create docs, and when viewing their direct reports docs, they will not be able to see any sensitive documents such as tax forms. Lastly, we have our employees. They can only view their own documents. They have no capabilities to see peers' docs or edit and create documents. All of these users can be referred to as document assignees. This is any individual that is involved with and has been assigned to complete a task in a MagicDoc, like a signature or an acknowledgement. For the rest of training, I may refer to these document assignees as DAs. So know that we have all the background as to what MagicDocs are. Do we have any questions before we jump into how to start a Magic document? Vanshika, I love that we call them MagicDocs too. I think it's super fun, especially because we get to magitize our documents, and that's going to be really an exciting slide that we get to. So really excited to show you what that looks like. I don't see any questions coming in so far, but again, if you do have them, feel free to send them in the chat or in the Q&A feature. So now that we've covered what MagicDocs are, who can be involved with MagicDocs, let's go through the life cycle of a MagicDoc. So where do we start? We can start two different ways. You can either create a document in GoCo from scratch. Remember, it's sort of like a word processor. You can add photos, you can format it and publish it directly in GoCo. Or if you already have a document on hand, you can upload it into GoCo and Magitize it here. When doing this, you can either upload a Word doc or a PDF. With each, we have different capabilities. So let's go over each format and what we can do with them. So first is going to be MagicDocs and Word documents. So when working with a Word document, you want to ensure that you have the most recent version of the document saved directly from Microsoft Word. You might run into some issues if you try to save and download a file from a third-party platform, such as Google Drive. So if you were to download a document from Google Drive and then upload it into GoCo, you might see a few formatting issues or a couple of text missing here and there. So it's highly suggested that you upload them directly from Microsoft Word or a PDF. So when working with a Word document, you can create magic fields. There are fields that you will set to pull information directly from GoCo. So for example, if you are working with an offer letter, you can set a magic field to always pull the new team member's name, every time you are sending out the offer letter. You will see this live in just a bit. So aside from magic fields, you can also add a few other fields for DAs to complete each time the document is being used. So the document sender or the team member, the manager, to fill out at some point in the document lifecycle. The first field you can add is a text box field. So fill in the blanks. An example of this might be a manager filling out specific bit of info regarding an employee before sending out that offer letter. Next is a dropdown. So we'll see that here. You can provide multiple options for a document assignee to pick from this dropdown, like this graphic. Last feature with Word docs is a date field for a document assignee to fill out. So an example of this might be a document sender inputting the new hire's start date. So before moving on, does anyone have any questions over MagicDocs and Word documents? I'll give it a couple of seconds, but if everything sounds good and clear, you can always send me a thumbs up emoji, or you can send in the chat saying all good, and then I can move forward. But I do like to give a couple of seconds in case someone does want to type up a question for me. Yes, Aileen, and you will see that here shortly. We're going to have some videos show you exactly how we set that up. The question that Aileen asked was, is there a way to make fields required and optional? So for the most part, they're going to be required. Some of them may be optional, kind of like the drop down. You might have optional magic fields to fill out, but we'll dive a little bit deeper into this as we go on. Okay, so let's talk about MagicDocs and PDFs. First things first, when you are working with a PDF, remember a PDF is basically a photocopy of a document. So since you cannot edit the formatting, we have a few more options to choose from. When you are working with a PDF, you are going to be basically placing these fields over the document. And if there are words already in that space, you can set those fields to have a white background so those words won't show through. So to start, you can do all the same functions that you have with Word documents, but a few more as well. So new ones to add are radio button fields and checkbox fields. These you can use to select multiple options. So these are really useful when providing a checklist for things for a document assignee to cross off. When adding any of these fields in both a PDF and a Word document, you will be able to format this field on the right side of your screen. This is where you can select if this is a required field or not. If you want that white background, if you want this to appear as a single line of text or two, etc. So now that we've learned the difference between the two formats, let's jump into creating a MagicDoc. So we'll be creating a MagicDoc for a full access administrator. So remember, they have permissions to create, edit, and send documents to people in the organization. We're going to go over this in 3 big steps. So first will be to set up the document, and then Magitize, lastly to publish and test. So remember to pay attention, because after this, you all will be creating one on your own. So to set up the document, you will first need to sign in as the full access administrator. Navigate your way to your Documents tab and begin the creation process. You will be asked to categorize the document and then asked if you would like to start from scratch or upload a file. Lastly, you will select who is involved with this document and the workflow you want it to follow. So let's take a look at this.
All right, so I'm going to show you how we start a Magic document. So first, you're going to want to sign into your GoCo account as a full access administrator. Remember, full access administrators can create, edit, and collect Magic documents. So now that we're signed in, we are on our company homepage. Here is where you can find all the different tabs that you can access as a full access administrator. We're going to go ahead and continue on into our Documents tab and select this button that says Manage. Now that we're in our Documents tab, we can see all the documents that we have created, as well as how many we've collected and are in progress from all of our employees. In order to start a new document, we're going to hit this blue Add Document button in the top right-hand field of your screen. Now, GoCo is asking us to categorize this document. So we can categorize it as an offer letter or contractor agreement, as a performance review document, as an agreement form and handbook document, or as a document to collect. We are going to be working with a COVID work from home policy agreement. So we're going to categorize it as an agreement. Now that we've selected our category, GoCo has asked if we would like to upload a file from any of these different options, or if we want to create a new file from scratch. I'm going to go ahead and select Upload File and select a file that I have saved to my computer. I do have one saved as a PDF and a Word document. You can utilize both in GoCo, but for today's purposes, we're going to be working off of a Word document. Now that GoCo has accepted our file upload, we can now either rename it or recategorize it. I think both look good, so we're going to save and continue on to our document assignees. So our document assignees are any individual that's going to be involved in the workflow of this document. GoCo is a smart system, and we let them know that this was an agreement. So it has already selected the document sender to sign this digitally, and then the team member to then sign it digitally. We can change up this workflow if we wish to by maybe having the team member sign first or the document sender sign second. We can also select different individual team members or different document assignees. So we're going to go ahead and add a recipient. And let's say that this team member's manager is also going to need to sign this document. So we're going to go ahead and add a digital signature. We can also add an acknowledgement and approval, or just for this employee to receive a copy if we wish to do so, but I'm just going to add a signature. Now that we have the workflow of our document set up, we can save and continue on to permissions. So we can see that everyone that's involved in this document has full access permissions to it. But if we wanted to view and edit any of these, we can do so back at our company page under our permissions tab. I think it looks good, so we'll just continue on to prepping the document.
All righty, so do we have any questions on the setup portion? This is pretty self-explanatory. The next one is going to be the juicy material, magitizing the document. I don't see anything coming in, which I think is great news, but feel free to send them through if you have the questions. But we will start to magitize now. So this is where we add all those fields we spoke about. So we're going to see our magic fields added, a calendar field added, drop downs, text boxes, and sign fields for all of the document assignees. So let's take a look at this.
So now that we have completed setting up our document and added all of our document assignees and the workflow that we want this document to follow, we are now ready to start magitizing it. We are in the Prepare tab of our Magic document, and we can see that our document has been pulled right here. If we look to the top of this screen, we can find all of our formatting options here. So things like adding a hyperlink or changing up the paragraph spacing and alignment or adding photos can be found at the top of this screen. And then all of our magic fields are going to be found to the left of our screen. So first, all of our fields that are going to be pulled from GoCo can be found in green. Everything that the document sender is responsible for will be found in blue. Everything that the team member is responsible for will be found in yellow, and everything for the manager will be found in purple. You'll see as many document assignees as you input into this MagicDoc to the left here. But now that we know where everything is on our screen, let's go ahead and jump into magitizing it. So we see our document right here, but since it was a Word document, our spacing did get a little jumbled. No worries though, we can fix all of that right here. So I'm just going down the line and spacing this out so it's a little easier on the eyes and a little easier for us to work with. Now that I've done this, let's start from the top and bring in all the fields that we want GoCo to fill out for us. So these are things like company name, document send date, employee's legal full name, etc. The first field that we want GoCo to pull is this employee's home address. So this is a work from home policy agreement, and we want this employee to agree to be working at this alternative work site, their home address. So let's go ahead and search address here so that we can find it a little easier. We are going to pull this employee's full address. Now, GoCo will always pull whoever this team member is, their full address. The next field that we want our GoCo system to pull is the employer's name. So we just want the company name. And that field is found here a couple of times. So we're just gonna go ahead and pull company name every time we see the word employer here. Now that we've completed all the fields we want to be pulled out from GoCo, let's go ahead and add some fields for the document sender to fill out. So if we read this sentence, it says telecommuting is a voluntary agreement between the manager and supervisor and the telecommuter. This agreement begins on blank and continues until blank. These are both going to be date fields for the document sender to complete. So we're going to go ahead and add a new date field here and a new date field here. With these date fields, we can change up the formatting. So if we wanted it to just read the digits, we could do so. Or if we wanted it to read the full month, day, and year, we can do so as well. We can also make this field required or not for the document sender to fill out. We want to make sure the document sender does fill this out. So we're going to go ahead and hit require and move on to our next field. The next sentence says, it can be discontinued at any time by either party with blank days notice. So this is going to be a fill in the blank for the document sender to complete. So I'll just add a new text field. And just like that date field, we can make this required or not by the document sender. And next, we're going to go ahead and move on to this other fill in the blank. So the office days will be this many days, and the home office days will be this many days. You will be available between this many hours. And you agree to respond within blank minutes or hours. But we want the document sender to select minutes or hours. So we're going to go ahead and add a drop down. So option 1 will be hours. Maybe you want this employee to respond to everything within a 1 hour time frame, or minutes. Maybe their job is a little more time sensitive and you need responses within 30 minutes. So adding this drop down, the document sender can fill in the blank for the time number and then select an option of hours or minutes. And lastly, we want to just make sure that we are adding that supervisor's signature and date. So the document sender, we're going to want them to sign this digitally. And then we want this to be dated. And now that we've completed all of the document senders tabs, we'll just go ahead and add the team member signature and their manager's signature. So just like we added the document sender, we're just going to scroll down to the yellow, find the signature button and the sign date button for both the manager and that employee. And now that we have completely magitized this document, we're ready to test and publish it.
All righty, awesome, awesome. Do we have any questions over this? I know there was a lot of material here. The next one is going to be testing and publishing. So feel free to ask your questions. I'm going to give it a few seconds unless we're good. Again, send me a thumbs up, a smiley face emoji, whatever it may be, just to let me know we're all on the same page and doing good. Jessica, I see your thumbs up. Exciting. All right, a smiley face, another thumbs up, and she got, all right, let's go. Awesome, awesome. So the last step is to test and publish. So real simple, we're gonna see the document from all document assignees' point of view, and we'll be able to save the document for future use. This video is a little bit shorter, just to give you that heads up.
So now that we have magitized our document, we are ready to publish and test it. So In order to do so, we're going to move over to this next tab in the Magic document that is labeled as test. Here is where you'll be able to see all the different POVs from all of your different document assignees. So if we take a look at this, we can see that right now we're in the document sender's POV and that there are 10 required fields for him to complete. So when someone is utilizing this document in real time, they will see all of these fields for them to fill out before they can send out the document. So our date fields will look like this, a calendar for this document sender to select a date from. Our text box fields will be fill in the blanks. And then our drop downs will see the 2 separate options or however many options we provided for the document sender to select from. And then lastly, that document sender's signature is going to be captured. So once their signature is captured, the date would automatically be filled out. Same thing for the team member. All we've asked of him is to sign it digitally. And then same thing for the manager. All we've asked of the manager is for a digital signature. Now that everything looks good, all we're going to do is select publish. The system will think for a few minutes or so, and then the document will be published and ready to use.
All righty, well, now that we've seen this document alive, we're gonna now see it in use. So we've set up our document, now what? First, your full access administrator will send the document, so they will access their GoCo account the same way and select who they want to send this to. So let's take a look at this.
All right, so now that we have created our Magic document, we are ready to use it and start collecting documents from our employees. So I'm signed into a full access administrator account for our demo company, and I'm going to navigate my way to our documents tab. Now that we're in our documents tab, we can see all of the documents that we can utilize and collect. I'm going to scroll down to our agreements, forms, and handbooks section and select our work from home policy agreement that we magitized. Here, you can select a team member to send this to, rename, or edit our Magic template. Before we select our team member, let's go ahead and take a closer look. Once we're in our document, we can see how many times that this document has been sent, how many completed documents we have, and how many are incomplete and where they are in the workflow of that document. Let's go ahead and hit this blue Send To button in the top right-hand corner to select our team member. Before we select our team member, we can overview what the workflow of this document is. So we set this up on the back end, but let's take a refresher look. We see that the document sender is going to sign it digitally, the team member will then sign digitally, and then the manager will sign digitally. Once all of our signatures have been collected, it is going to be saved to the team member's profile. And then once we select our team member, we see that all of these fields are going to be filled out. So our company name is going to be replaced by our company name. We're going to see all of these drop-down fields and calendar fields in action. We're going to see this employee's full address get pulled. And all of the spots for our signatures are going to be active. So let's go ahead and select a team member. When selecting a team member, you can also filter down to better find your choices. So we can filter by employee status or location or job title. We can also use this search bar to, again, find our employees a little easier. We can select one team member at a time, or we can select multiple to send this to a bunch of team members at once. Let's go ahead and select one team member and start filling out our required fields. So once we've made our selection, we scroll down and click select one team member. Now we see that this Magic document is alive and ready for us to fill out. So we'll first start with these date fields. We're saying that this work from home policy agreement starts on November 1st, and we'll have it end with the end of the year, December 31st. It can be discontinued at any time by either party with blank days notice. So we'll go ahead and say 5 days notice. Our office days will be blank and our home office days will be blank. So let's go ahead and say we're working from the office Monday through Wednesday, and our work from home days are going to be Thursday through Friday. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to our business hours. So we're letting this employee know that their assigned business hours are going to be between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and that we would like them to respond within 1 hour. But if we wanted them to respond within 30 minutes or so, the document sender can select minutes and type in 30 right here. Now we'll scroll down to our signature. So the document sender is going to sign this and their signature will be captured and then just finish this out. It'll then move on to the team member and the manager. Now that we've sent this out, there is nothing else for us to do at this point in time. And we can see that this document is in progress. So we've started it, we've signed it, but we're still waiting on a couple more signatures.
Alrighty, so now that the document has been sent out, we're going to see the next step in the document workflow, the employee signing. The employee will be notified both through email and in GoCo. When they sign into their account, they will be prompted to complete their required fields, and then the document will move on to the next step in the document workflow.
Now that we have completed the document senders portion of things, let's sign in as that team member and complete their portion of everything. So I am signed in as that team member, and you can see right off the bat, things look a little different. As a full access administrator, you have a lot more visibility. As a team member, you can only really see things that are relevant to you. So we're signed in and we see that there is one notification. We're going to click on that and complete our required tasks. So we have documents that need attention. We'll click on it and see what's being asked of us. Oh, look, it's our new work from home policy agreement. We'll go ahead and start this and see what it says. So it's asking us to please review this document and complete one required field. We'll go ahead and hit start and see what that is. We see that all of that information that we put in as the document sender has now been saved, and we can no longer edit it as the team member. We see that our address has been pulled and that these are our work from home days, these are our business hours, and our response time. We see our document sender's signature, and now we see a spot for us to sign. So we're gonna go ahead, sign this document, and save it. Now that we've completed all of our fields, we're just gonna go ahead and hit finish and let the system notify us that this has been finished. There are no more documents that need review. And if we like, we can view all of our documents from our profile. So these are all the documents that have been collected from this team member. So this is what all of your employees would see on their own profiles. We can see the document that we signed. And if we want to, we can even print or save a copy for our own personal records.
Alrighty, so the next step is going to be the manager signing. So same as the employee, they will receive a notification to the email on file and in their GoCo account to complete their required steps. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. This is the last video before we jump into our practical. So just giving you that little heads up.
Now that we've collected our employee's signature, we are ready to see the manager's point of view. So this is not a full access administrator, and this manager only has visibility to see his direct reports information. So again, you can see that this looks a little different from the full access administrator's point of view, and that's the reason. We see that there's a notification, so let's go ahead and click on it and see what it is. We see that Phoebe Rodriguez, one of our direct reports, has documents that need our attention. So we'll go ahead and view and complete all required fields. We see that it is our work from home policy agreement and that we need to start this and complete our tasks. There is one required field. All of that information that we viewed from the employees and the document sender's point of view is here. We see the document sender's signature, the team member's signature, and now a spot for our signature. Once we e-sign and date, we just hit finish. And now we, as that team member's manager, can go to their profile and view their documents. So again, this manager does not have full access administration, so they can only view their direct reports documents and their own documents. And just like that individual team member, they can download and save a copy for their own records.
Alrighty, y'all, so now that we've seen a MagicDoc through and through, are we ready to create one on our own? Can I get some fun emojis in the chat, some smiley faces, some celebrations, a peace sign, whatever you want? Just excited to know that we are all ready. Yay, I love the celebration emoji, Vanshika, amazing. So the stars, it's glorious. I know, I'm so excited. We're all excited. So first things first, you will need a document to Magitize, access to a full access administrator GoCo account, and access to a test employee if you would like to test this out. I know you might not have one, a test employee. We do show you how to create one in the hiring and onboarding training. So just to keep that in mind, for those of y'all that might be interested in that, I think we also have them in our mini crash courses as well in our help center. If anyone is needing the document that we've been going over in our videos, please send me your email in the chat and I can email you that document if you're wanting to upload that same document and Magitize it the way that we did in the video. So first step, set up the document. So I have some music that I'll be playing while you all begin the process. Keep in mind that in my demo, I did have a third document assignee, the manager, but since you all probably only have access to one test employee, we're going to exclude that manager portion. So there's no need to add the third DA. So if you see on my screen, I only have two, the document sender and the team member. So anyway, I'll be right here. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask in the chat. And if anyone has any trouble and would like to share their screen so I can help, we can do that as well. So I'll give everyone about 3 minutes to do this quick portion, is just going to your documents, adding the new document, and then selecting the DAs. So your 3 minutes starts now. Oh my goodness. righty, so it's been about 3 minutes. I'm looking at the chat. Brandy, I want to say it's a third-party system that we have in place, but I just asked our platform implementers if they can give me the name of that so I can get that clarified for you. So I'll get back to your answer and type it in your Q&A chat. And then Aileen, I'm looking to see, I feel like you might be having trouble accessing your full access administrator account. Okay, so my test employee or my test document. So if you're looking for full access administrators to see your test employee, if you go into your team page, if you have created a test employee already, if you go into your team page, you'll have a grid view of all of your employees in the organization. Your test employee will have brackets and it says test. So that would be your test employee. So it'll have the brackets, it'll say test, and then it'll have the first and last name that you gave your test employee. If you do not see it there, maybe you have not created a test employee yet. And then for documents, if you have a test document, I assume you have already uploaded it. Oh, Vanjita cannot see her test employee. I wonder if there's multiple. If you're all full access administrators, you should all be able to see the same test employee. So what I'm thinking is that Vanshika is not a full access administrator. No, for other full access administrators. And then Jessica, I'm wondering your Word document, did you upload it from Google Drive or was it exactly from Word Docs? As you saw in the video, the one thing that it'll look like is the spacing will unfortunately not be exactly the same. You would have to respace your document, but it shouldn't have missed any information if it was directly uploaded from documents. Okay, so as far as Vanshika knows, she's a full access admin. If you want, Vanshika, you can share your screen with me and I can jump in and help and see, I want to just double check your permissions, see if everything looks right. I'm happy to do so. Let's see here. Okay. It was uploaded from my documents, like our company logo that is usually smaller at the top left is now large and in the middle, and it wouldn't let me move it. Okay, interesting. What if you went to your original document and removed the logo? And then you can upload it in GoCo and then be able to format it that way. That would be my workaround at the moment. What I could also do, or what I would also recommend, is reaching out to your platform manager or implementer or your client success manager. They should be able to assist with that. Say that you still have issues, it's not letting you format, because I know that we've been able to fix minor things like that. Employee. I want to know, I'm curious to know what company Vanshika and Aileen are in. I could also try to pull up your company information and just, I'd be able to view permissions. I won't be able to adjust the permissions. I unfortunately don't have the permission to upgrade people, but I can let your client success managers know just in case if there is a hiccup and you may not have full access, administrator access. Because going back to your first question, Aileen, if two other admins also can't see but are listed as onboarding on the team section, that means they have to finish their onboarding in order to be complete and then have the full access administrator access. Is there a way to find or replace so we can add company name in all places that says employer at the same time? Add company name in all places that say yes. So I will type that answer, Vanshika, for adding a company name. Let me see what else is coming. Okay, I see your company. I will take a look at that here shortly. So let's see. For others that are looking to move forward, we are going to step 2. So this is where you add all of the fun stuff. You can add all of the information that you would like GoCo to pull and all information you want the document assignees to complete. So I know that we've already had some time moving forward, but I'll give y'all another 7 minutes to do this while I look up North Marion Community Service and see what their permissions are. So I do apologize, I'm taking off my screen here momentarily, but yes, we are currently magitizing our documents. So let us see here. North. And then Darlene needs a test employee. Darlene, have you attended hiring and onboarding training? Or if you haven't, since you need a test employee, I can send you a mini crash course on how to create a test employee if you need that video. So just let me know by sending me your email, and then I can send you that mini crash course so that way you can learn how to create one. Okay. So it looks like you have full access to the documents, Vanshika, contact information, custom fields. But it looks like you can access 5 out of 5 team members. So maybe that's why. Why that means you have 1, 2, 3, 4 all team members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. View all permissions. I see your test employee. So the test employee that I'm looking at right now in North Marin, it says that they still need an invite to be onboarded. So I'm assuming because they haven't been fully onboarded, maybe that's why Vanshika can't see the test employee. No, I haven't attended the hiring and onboarding yet. Okay. So Vanshika and Aileen, that might be the error that's happening, is that we need to complete the onboarding for your test employee. So if you were to go into the test employee's profile, it says send onboarding link. Just copy and paste that into a new tab, complete the onboarding, fill out the information, however, as a test employee, and then they should be active in your company profile. So that way you can assign them a document to complete, sign, acknowledge, whatever it may be that you want it to be. Okay, awesome. Glad that you got my answer. So for the fake email, it's whatever you assign, you're creating an email for that employee. So just make sure that you note the email that you create for them. It doesn't have to be a real one, but that email that you create is essentially their username. So just make sure that you document that somewhere, so that way, if you don't, obviously, if you create a password for it, you won't be able to send it to a valid email. So a really good way that I suggest creating a fake email is just kind of making it the same as your own email. But for example, if I had Nicole@GoCo.io, I would put Nicole plus demo@GoCo.io. And then that should help complete the process. And then Darlene, if you can send me your email in the chat, I am happy to send you the mini crash course to creating a test employee. Brandy, yes, I'm happy to do that. Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and note this. All righty, Darlene, I have your email, so I will send that to you a little after training. And then I did also get the answer to USCIS requirements, USCIS requirements. Okay, so going back to our presentation, just to hopefully wrap things up for everyone. Step 3 is publishing and testing our MagicDoc. So you'll be able to view the DA's point of view and then send to a test employee. I know that some of us have struggled a little bit with being able to access this. So do have in mind that we all will get a recording of this training at the end of the day, so that way you can go back and refer to all of the steps that we were demonstrated before, and then all of these questions that have been asked, you'll be able to reach these again. Oh, and Brandy, I see what you just sent, so awesome. And then I think I did answer your question. So our system is USCIS. It meets their requirements for I-9s and signatures. So it's a system that's tied with ours that ensures that all of these signatures and forms are valid. So if you do want to know a little bit more, I would suggest asking your client success manager a little bit more. I know they can dive deeper into that, but from what I was told is that they do meet the USCIS requirements for signatures and I-9s. So yep, we are on step 3 right now, publishing and testing. For those, Darlene, I'm going to send you the email to the crash course so that way you can take a look at creating your test employee, and then hopefully then after that you can assign a test employee to one of these MagicDocs so that way you can test it on your own. But as I mentioned before, for all those that are creating test employees right now, when you do create the email, make sure that you note it so that way you remember the username that you're essentially creating for them, so that way you can log in and take off with the password and get into their profile. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm just taking a look at things that have come through. Jessica, I'm not sure if you tried doing if you tried uploading a new document without the logo and maybe it's worked out better that way. If not, I'm also going to note your name and just send a chat to your client success manager to let them know that you had this issue. I know that they're always open and welcome to help. Oh, I see what you're saying here, Vanshika. So the last question that I'm looking at to answer, Vanshika asks, is there a find and replace so we can add company name in all places that say employer at the same time? Unfortunately, we do not have that feature yet where it could find, say, employer in the entire document and then replace that with a field. I think that would be absolutely incredible. And I think those are small suggestions that we have sent out to our engineering team that we hope to release at some point later this year. I know that that's something that they would want to work on, but I can't guarantee when that would come out. So for now, it is just having to go to each location in the document that says employer and then putting the magic field there to whatever it is that needs to be applied for that MagicDoc. I see that. I believe it's been about 2 minutes now here for publishing and testing. The next step is to test this with a test employee if we had that test employee. So I know that several of us don't have that right now. So I am going to just jump to our questionnaire. Do we have any other lingering questions that I may send over to our platform implementers or client success managers that I may not be able to answer right now? I know that there are a few kind of things here and there where we might not just have certain access to our accounts right now, but happy to look at someone's screen if someone is needing to share their screen with me too. But if not, I will stay on this slide for another minute or two, and then I will go to the next slide, which is just reviewing our goals. So I'm taking a look at the chat. So far, nothing new has come in just yet. And I believe that we're all just kind of working to see how we can Magitize our documents. Hopefully, I was able to explain Magitizing the document and how y'all can do that quickly and easily after our training today. But just as a reminder, you will receive a link to this exact training, so that way you can go back and review our videos that we watched today, as well as some definitions and processes on how to upload a document and Magitize it. I'm not seeing anything else come in yet, so I'm moving on to the next slide. And that's me revisiting goals. So our goals at the beginning of our training today was for you to gain a full understanding of what MagicDocs are and how you can utilize them for your business, and then feeling 100% comfortable with creating and updating MagicDocs on your own. So we may not be able to see some screens today, but for those that are looking to share their screens, if they're wanting to confirm something, let me know. But if not, we have reached the end of our training. I do have a couple of follow-ups that I need to do with a few attendees that were here today. Darlene, I have you on mind, as well as Aileen and Vanshika. I'm just going to send a message out to your client success manager just to ensure that everything does look good, that you're able to create your test employees. Everyone has full access administrator access. Is there a place who we can see who created the document? That's a good question that I don't have a clear answer to. Is there a place where we can see? I'm trying to visualize GoCo right now. I want to say you might be able to see who was the last person to update the document, but I don't believe you'd be able to see who created the document. However, if you were to go into your permissions, because I know Vanshika, you are a full access administrator, only full access administrators can create MagicDocs. So I assume that you won't have a plethora of full access administrators. So if there was a new document created, it's only going to be the 3 to 4 people that you have assigned as a full access administrator. So it does limit your choices as to who has created it, but I'm not 100% sure if GoCo has an area where it shows you Vanshika uploaded it, or Aileen, or what have you. So that is a little bit of a workaround for that question. And thank you. I'm so glad that I was able to help. Hopefully I can help a little bit further after today. But again, we have reached the end of our webinar. So for those that are complete and ready to go, thank you for joining us this Wednesday. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will send you a follow-up email by the end of the day, so that way you can review everything we touched on, and you can get into MagicDocs and start magitizing all of your documents. So thank you for coming. I'll keep this online for another minute or two, since I do have you until 12:15, but I'm happy to give you back 3 minutes of your day if that's what you need. So again, thank you, and thank you so much for coming. Oh, and looks like Aileen figured everything out. Fantastic. I'm glad everyone figured those things out. All righty, it looks like things are good. I don't see anything new coming in anymore. So I'm going to be wrapping this up and I will send you some follow-ups here shortly. Again, thank you everyone for coming and have a fantastic Wednesday.